Hi, I'm Ken Kessler, and welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. And if you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back. That said, just so there are no misunderstandings, I want to make sure right from the get-go that I mentioned there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. I get questions about that last part a lot, so I thought I'd make a podcast to address it, even though I'll probably do something similar once we get into fall. What follows is part of a blog I wrote years ago that I try to revisit and update every year as we get closer to Halloween. Now, like most families, Halloween and Christmas have always been big at our house. Lisa and the kids are on the Halloween side, while I'm with Santa. I learned long ago not to try and convert any of them. I think what happened at Disneyland once illustrates it best. In one of the studios at California Adventure, you can use this machine to determine which hero or villain you are. I was Tarzan. All three of them were villains. That's just how it goes, but I'm pretty sure they still love me anyway. So every year, as we move toward October, and I get super busy working on the new season of The Sounds of Christmas, loading lots and lots of new music, I try to do something for my Halloween family. The Sounds of Christmas goes through a big change every October. It becomes The Sounds of Halloween from October 1st through Halloween night. Now, I admit that I started doing this mostly just for my family. I kick the tires and otherwise make sure everything is set to go for the coming season, and they get to listen to all of their favorite seasonal stuff for Halloween. But as I started doing this, I found that there are lots of people that love Halloween. So I've expanded the playlist and continue to do that every year, and I hope that everybody has a good time with the sounds of Halloween, enjoying songs about that season. Now, with all of that said, what exactly is Halloween music? Well, some of it's pretty obvious. Monster Mash, Purple People Eater, Ghostbusters, songs about things you associate with Halloween, ghosts, monsters, werewolves, vampires, witches. Some are scary stories and some are about candy or trick-or-treating. I also include songs from scary movies and TV shows. Some of those are pretty creepy and others are funny, and many of them are somewhere in between. Now, while there are lots of kids' songs like The Count from Sesame Street, a few of the songs have bad language, and some of the themes of some songs are straight out of horror movies. It's definitely a lot more of adult-oriented fare, and you might want to give it a test drive before playing it for the whole family or for anybody who might not appreciate that kind of thing. Now, the music for The Sounds of Christmas is obviously much different. There's no bad language. There's no adult-themed songs. Even though there are plenty of those kind of songs out there, I just don't play those on The Sounds of Christmas. There are lots of other places you can find that. On The Sounds of Christmas, I play many versions of lots of different songs. So you won't just hear Bing Crosby's version of White Christmas. You will hear lots of versions of that song and lots of versions of other Christmas songs. Some you might know, some you might not. I try to do the same thing with the Halloween tunes. I have at least a dozen versions of Ghost Riders in the Sky, though I may not get to all of them this October, as I try to separate songs and artists out so you won't hear the same songs and same voices over and over and over, just like I do with The Sounds of Christmas. Now, you will hear from many of your favorite Christmas music singers and bands, including Bing Crosby, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, Mannheim Steamroller, and even Bruce Springsteen. There are songs about killer tomatoes, black magic women, and haunted houses. There are also songs about alien invasions, invisible men, and over 20 takes on I Put a Spell on You, although I probably won't get to all of those this October either. I play lots of Disney songs, from movie villains and from spooky shows on the Disney Channel, and I have at least a half a dozen songs from Mystery Science Theater 3000. To give you an even better idea, here are a dozen of the songs from my Sounds of Halloween library that I listened to as I put this podcast together. Johnny Cash, Ghost Riders in the Sky. Judy Garland, That Old Black Magic. William Shatner with Warren Hayes, Twilight Zone. Jeff Buckley, Witch's Rave. Oingo Boingo, When the Lights Go Out. Men at Work, Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jive. The Keytones, I Was a Teenage Monster. Robert Palmer, Witchcraft. The Midnight Chimes, Boogie with the Boogeyman. Juliana Hatfield, Bad Moon Rising. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Ways to Be Wicked. Jerry Reed, Phantom of the Opry. I hope that gives you a better idea of what you can expect when October rolls around this year. And I hope you'll enjoy our annual celebration of Halloween when September turns to October this fall. And then, just after Halloween night, the new season of The Sounds of Christmas will begin. Of course, the Christmas music is playing right now as I'm recording this podcast in May. And the Christmas music keeps going all the way through September and then starts again on November 1st. So you can tune in anytime all year round and get some musical Christmas spirit, except in October, of course. Anyway, I hope that gives you a good idea, or at least a better idea, of what you can expect when the Sounds of Christmas becomes the Sounds of Halloween. Thanks so much for listening and helping this podcast continue to grow. We're on about 24 different podcasting sites. And since you're listening to this now, you've obviously found us somewhere. But if there's another site you like to use for podcasts, check out our podcast page on our website for the complete list of everywhere you can listen to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. Again, the website is www.soundsofchristmas.com. Then just click on the podcast tab. For the Sounds of Christmas station, to listen to the music, you'll need to stick with our website or our app in the Google Play Store. In the meantime, thanks again for listening. If you have comments or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through our website. Thanks again, and may you always believe in Santa Claus and the Great Pumpkin.